Hello Internet! Today we are going to be taking a look at how you can control the camera using your mouse. So this is going to give you a way to kind of look around your scene using your mouse to control where the camera is pointing rather than like actually shifting the screen itself. We're intending to kind of, or at least I'm intending to expand upon this effect in another video that will be coming shortly after this. But for now we're just going to look at how to actually look at some fun ways to control the camera. So most of this is focusing on some ScreenPointToRay magic. So we're going to do some raycasts and just test things out. So I've already started creating a script. There's really only two components to this scene right now. There is our main camera, which has a flashlight direction controller attached to it. This currently has options to attach a light, which I'm just going to go and do that. And then our light is just a normal spotlight. And so what we need to do is actually implement this because I have written no code. So that's what we're going to do right now is we're going to make this actually work. So let's make this a little bit bigger so that people can actually read what I'm typing and do that. So what we have is we have a light transform. We're just going to take this and we want this to point at where our mouse is hovering over in the scene. There's a lot of different ways we could do this, but what I'm going to do is actually use a Camera.main.ScreenPointToRay. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a ray that we can actually cast from our camera position into our scene and use as a way to intersect the world. So if I remember, we can just use the mouse position here to grab that. So that will get the mouse position in 3D space on our screen, convert that into a vector relative to how our camera is configured. So this will take into account like a perspective camera that perhaps changes the angle as you move horizontally across the screen. Things like that will just be automatically accounted for by doing this. And we can just grab our ray. So now we're going to be using raycasts. I have a bunch of videos about how to do raycasts, so we're going to not cover them super in depth right now. But the idea here is to shoot a ray into the scene, see what it hits, and then find a second point. So basically we're getting 1 point of where our ray hits. Our second point is the position of our light. And we're going to draw a line between that and get the direction of that light. And then we're just going to shoot or point the light along that vector. That's how we're trying to solve this. So the first thing we need to do is actually use this ray. If Physics.Raycast with our ray, we need to remember how to do this. We actually probably don't even need anything else. I think what we will need is just our out of the RaycastHit, and that's it. So let's create that quick RaycastHit of hit. So because we're outputting this, we cannot initialize this variable right now. That's being initialized here. This gives us a way to output additional things from a function. This is really common in physics raycasts and so forth. What it's doing is giving us a way to say, did we hit something or did we not hit something? And if we did hit something, fill out what this hit is. If not, it will just usually end up being null. But then we can actually do interesting stuff inside of this if block. And yeah, we can actually, I think I'm going to do this instead. So all I did here was invert this physics raycast. And the reason we're doing that is because it reduces this, what's called the cyclomatic complexity of our function. This is just a measure of basically how many curly brackets your function has. It's not actually like a hard rule, but it is kind of a nice thing for readability to keep that low. Just because if you start layering things like this, dude, like this gets a little bit unwieldy to like reason through. And so by inverting this, we can just remove all conditions and sort of keep everything kind of linearly inline. So there's that. If we're outside of this, we know that our hit is populated. So that's where we need to point at. So our target is going to be the hit point. I think that's probably the best. And then we just need the var direction, and that's going to be equal to our hit.point minus the lightTransform. Not like that. So one of the reasons I'm calling this a lightTransform and not light is because Unity has some legacy stuff. Like light used to be just a thing that was attached to every game object, or every model behavior had a reference to like lights and things like that. That's not really a thing that happens anymore, but the code is still there, so it causes weird things to happen. It's why you might see like, consider using new, you're overriding existing functions or something. If you start naming things like rigid body or light, that's what's going on, is there's existing code that used to do that. So anyway, that's why we have lightTransform. And we're just going to grab the position of that. And now this is a vector describing the difference between the two positions. What we actually want here is just a normalized version of this. So we're going to do exactly that. Why doesn't it like this? There we go. All right. So if we normalize our direction vector, that gets us a specific point that we want to point in. And then we can just get our lightTransform and set the rotation. I haven't actually planned this out about how I want to do this, so we're going to figure it out together here. We're going to just do Quaternion.LookRotation, and we're going to just look forward. This also asks for an upwards vector just because it's ambiguous if you just give a single vector and say point along this, because you can rotate around that and it's all in the same direction. It's just in different orientations. So that's what the upwards is intended to do. So like if you want your vector to go like this, you can do that. Or if you want it to do like this, you can do that too. So we don't actually care because it's a spotlight. So we're just going to ignore that entirely and just say, here's the direction. And that should be it. I believe that should be all we need to do to actually get this to work. So we're just going to grab a point in the scene and then point our light at it. This gets slightly interesting because like the reason we have to do all this work in the first place is because our light and our camera are not in the same position in the first place. I've intentionally like offset them. So like think about having a flashlight that you're holding in your hand. It's not attached to your eyes. And if it is, why? But the idea is like, these are going to be disconnected things. So if you have a character who's you're trying to portray is holding a flashlight in their hand, you want to simulate that they are actually moving the flashlight around in space. And so that's what this is intended to do, kind of simulate, is a way for us to do that. So what we should be able to do now is play this and hopefully get no errors. And then as I move my flashlight around the scene, you can see we're now following the mouse. So this isn't rotating the camera. This isn't doing any magic there. It's just changing the point of the light that we're focusing on. And now you can do this for all sorts of different things. If you're trying to have like, I don't know, an arcade shooter or something where this is some weapon or whatever, you can do that. A point and click adventure. You can use this for all of it. This is just sort of a fun way to kind of change how this is doing instead of actually physically moving the camera. So yeah, I think that's basically it. Most of the magic here is just the camera screen point to Ray. There's a few others for converting into like world position and things like that. But this one is particularly useful for doing effects very much like this. It gives you a lot of ways to kind of take a mouse position and convert it into your scene and then interact with the world using that. So yeah, we're going to be expanding on this in the next video, but that's it for now. So hopefully this was helpful. I know it's short, but the code for this will be in the description. So if you would like to use this in your own projects for some reason, there it is. But yeah, that's it for now. So until next time, see you, Internet.